Hi, I am Janet Stone, and I refuse to waste even an instant of your time as I reveal to you the holistic tinnitus treatment. I'll show you the exact cause of tinnitus and how a simple technique discovered by scientists at leading medical universities made it possible for you to hit the mute button on that aggravating ringing in your ears forever. My mind boggling discovery began in the most unusual trenches of Benghazi. Scared to death behind sand barricades, heart pounding, looking down the barrel of an M4A1 rifle, moments from pulling the trigger, a split second from almost getting blown to pieces, to be grounded cold in my tracks by cutting edge medical research in my hometown of Denver. This research completely cured the tinnitus of Jeffrey Kane, a 44-year-old single father. In fact, this scientific marvel, which I'll tell you about in a jiffy, is so forceful that medical experts now believe it is the only scientifically proven method to permanently silence the noise blaring in your ears. It retrains your brain to cut off all the ringing, roaring, and whooshing in your ears. Yep, you heard me rightly. You'll be fully cured in 16 short weeks. Going from this to this, without earplugs, hearing aids, or Siemens sound gadgets. And you'll be shocked, maybe even disturbed to learn just how far greedy pharmaceutical fat cats and their corporate henchmen are willing to go to slap trademark patents on this healing technique and gouge the price through the roof. You'll discover the amazing technique that combats the source of tinnitus even while you sleep. Developed by a team of ear specialists and sound technology experts, this technique doesn't require hearing aids, new chemical-based medication, chronic ear flushing, or even surgery. In fact, once you see exactly what this sound therapy technique does, you won't believe how fast it works and how totally inexpensive it is. No more stuffing your head in the pillows at night to escape the sound of your heart pumping inside your ears. And you can forget the headaches, dizziness, and pure frustration at being trapped in your own head. It sounds incredible, I know, especially if you've suffered from tinnitus thinking that there's no cure whatsoever. To be suddenly cured by a method so effective and so outlandish, it would be banned instantly if it ever made it to mainstream TV. This is not some overhyped tinnitus remedy. It is a holistic, scientifically proven health restoration program. As you will soon see with this brief presentation, which I can only keep online for a short amount of time, because of the unethical lobby of the $70 billion medical industry to take me down and convert this ear health breakthrough into their personal cash cow. And in the next 3 minutes, you will discover the lies they have been peddling. Lies such as why earwax and loud noise are not the main culprit for the hissing in your ears. Also, how certain sound frequencies that most people think are healthy create serious hearing problems that increase the pitch of your tinnitus. Just by following a couple of easy techniques, you can quickly and permanently shut off the loudspeakers in your ears forever, bringing you intense relief and the ability to concentrate for once without getting distracted by buzzing and ear-piercing sounds. You will finally be able to relax and enjoy your family and friends, even when you are in a noisy room. Best of all, this scientific technique is very effective for severe tinnitus cases. Just by following the simple sound therapy technique I'm about to show you, your brain will be retrained to permanently suffocate tinnitus on a biological level. Your brain can be trained to adapt to the most imposing phenomena. I used the same brain technique when I was rapidly deployed to serve my country in Benghazi. Trapped in a bunker with my platoon, subjected to sporadic bombardment by enemy artillery, violent explosions intermittently rocked the earth, sending shockwaves through the bunker. I obviously didn't get killed, yet I cannot say the same thing for my eardrums. But on the bright side, if you stick with me to the very end of this short video, I'll show you the ultimate secret to rid your ears of the never-ending noise explosion inside your head and reverse any hearing problems associated with tinnitus. Now, if you've suffered from tinnitus for any length of time, you probably want to take control of what you hear. So let's not waste any more time. I want you to know who I am and why I know a secret trick that my competitors and hearing aid manufacturers would do anything to keep from your ears. So, as you know, my name is Janet Stone. I live near Denver, Colorado. 2 years ago, my surgeon operated on my ear to fix tinnitus. After the operation, the chief surgeon said, "The horrible hissing sound in your ear is the result of an inflammation." Yet, the operation was an abysmal and unmitigated failure. Nothing at all was physically wrong with my ears, and I woke up feeling like he'd drilled through my skull with an ice pick. My right ear was fire hot and completely swollen, stitched back on like Frankenstein. All for nothing. Because the ringing in my ears not only persisted, in fact, it had gotten worse. The surgeon had accidentally injured a facial nerve, causing my tongue to lose all taste. It felt like someone burned it with acid. As you can imagine, this experience was horrific and excruciatingly painful. The last time I was under such excruciating pain was on a fateful night at Benghazi, when I was startled awake by the deafening sound of explosions. The base was under attack. I leapt out of bed, dashed to the nearest bunker for safety. The entire base was pitch black because there were unidentified men with fully loaded machine guns, dressed in green masks, scouring the base. Without warning, a succession of high-velocity bullets dastardly ripped through the walls of the bunker, splattering a hail of sandstorm just about everywhere. Fast-moving sand particles got into my eyes, nose, and ears. Wounded soldiers screamed from pangs of pain. Amidst the terror, crazy thoughts started to enter my head, blurring my vision. The feeling of uncertainty, not knowing if tonight would be my last, was the worst feeling I've ever felt in my life. The tat-tat-tat of high-caliber machine gun fire lit the dark skies with bright crimson dots flying helter-skelter. Shrapnel from grenade explosions whizzed right over our heads, forcing us to swoop down and remain ducked for hours, each hour more terrifying than the next. All of a sudden, we heard the most beautiful words ever spoken. "All clear." The feeling of relief never felt so good. Almost like the feeling when your heart skips a beat, when you see your child run after a ball into a busy intersection, but saved at the last minute by a good Samaritan. With my head to the sky quietly thanking God for a second chance, I vowed to make it my mission to make a major contribution to the world. The next step was simple. I quit the military and flew back to the States, where my treatment of tinnitus began. It's best if you know how I got to the point of having my ear operated on to begin with. You see, it all began with a cotton bud getting stuck deep in my ear canal. My futile attempts to remove the cotton bud resulted in my entire right face swelling off my head. Days later, I was whisked to the clinic, screaming and screeching in debilitating pain. The doctor immediately put me on enough antibiotics to kill an adult elephant. 48 hours later, thick yellowish pus began flowing out of my ear like molten lava. It was like a small volcano erupting in my right ear. Over the next few days, the steady ooze gradually decreased in volume. My hearing was still intact, but a bizarre phantom noise had emerged to shatter the tranquility I had known for years. At first, I wasn't too alarmed because I believed the ringing would be only temporary. Big mistake. Not only did the ringing persist, it got worse. The ringing and swishing sounds in my head just became an accepted part of life. My impaired hearing did not prevent me from enlisting in the military. What a crazy career choice. The only exciting part about serving my country in the military was traveling halfway across the world. The detrimental part of getting shot at in Benghazi was not the thick smell of gunpowder and the blood of bleeding soldiers. The real tragedy was the atrocious pounding from multiple explosions, which my ears took. But it gets worse. I quit the Army and moved straight into construction, working with loud air compression jackhammers. It was precisely while demolishing concrete walls that the ice-cold reality of my predicament knocked me out of my wits. It echoed in my head like the bang of a set of drums in a rock concert. All of a sudden, I was deafened by a high-pitched tone that drowned everything else out. It sounded like that loud alarm tone on the emergency broadcast alarm system when it takes over your TV. I covered my ears and looked around at everyone else, but no one was experiencing this weird pain, and they were all staring at me like I was crazy. I left work early, hoping it was just a fluke and would go away, but it didn't. The dinging stayed in my ears all night, and I couldn't sleep at all. The next day, it was still there, only now, there was this sensation of blood pumping through my ears. I'm sure you felt that before. Well, I called around and asked a few colleagues for the best ear specialist in the business. After all, I was in the construction industry, which is notorious for causing hear loss. Maybe it was caused by the loud explosions from my Benghazi expedition. Who knows? Luckily, I was able to get an appointment right away with a top-notch surgeon who immediately sent me to get an MRI scan on my head. A few days later, he went over my results, but said he still wasn't sure what was actually wrong with me. The organs in your ear are healthy and fully intact, he said. I protested profusely. I explained to the surgeon my brief history of suffering from a monstrous inflammation after a cotton bud got stuck in my right ear. I told him how the incident got me consigned to the hospital for a few days, with thick yellowish pus oozing out of my ear. He re-examined the image of the MRI scan intensely and pronounced the same diagnosis. There was nothing physically wrong with any organ in my ear, he insisted. In desperation, "Okay, so what now?" I asked. Well, he said a transcranial magnetic operation was probably the safest bet. Just like a surgeon would say. One minute, this dude is telling me there's nothing wrong with the organs in my ear, and the very next minute, he is suggesting a transcranial magnetic operation, probably just to make a buck. Things moved on as swiftly as an unstoppable gravy train that has picked up momentum and just kept on accelerating. Before I realized what I was getting into, my operation had been scheduled for the very next week. It all happened so fast. At the time, I was just glad I'd be able to have the procedure done so quickly because it was supposed to fix my whole ear problem. Looking back, as they always say, I wish I had known then what I know now. Especially because surgeons always want to perform surgery. Well, 1 week and $35,000 later, I woke up with my head full of gauze and a grade A headache banging through my skull. Worse still was the news my doctor gave me when I finally got done throwing up from the anesthesia. Well, we did pass a low frequency of electromagnetic current through your right ear, he said. Hopefully it repairs any damaged nerves, but we can't be sure. Seriously, even as he spoke the words to me, my ears were still ringing. One more thing, he said. Transcranial magnetic stimulation does have some side effects. Your mouth might tingle or burn for a little while, and that could have a funny metal taste, but it should go away. So that was why my mouth felt halfway numb, halfway on fire. I thought it was the vomiting. If this all sounds horribly disgusting, that's because it was. And he was wrong. That horrible bad taste in my mouth never went away. Now I was stuck with tinnitus and a metallic taste in my mouth. But little did I know that I was about to stumble upon a secret that would dramatically turn my fortunes around. A secret so unimaginable, it would make even the most dedicated atheist look up to the sky and say there is a God. Now, the secret that I am about to share with you is so simple, so easy, that even in the next few weeks, the results you will experience are going to be indescribable. And so astonishing that it probably sounds almost unbelievable when you first hear about it. You will likely wonder how something like this could have eluded all the ear specialists in the first place. I felt exactly the same way when I was first told about this incredible scientific breakthrough, about sound wavelengths buried in the ear anatomy that Westerners, Canadians, Australians, and European countries were threatened and forced to keep quiet about. At first, I thought this was a bunch of hogwash. I thought I was being fed a lot of false claims I've already heard before. But it felt unreal cataloging the testimonials of my soldier buddies who had tried the sound therapy. Like most soldiers subjugated to rapid machine gun fire and numerous bomb blasts, they frequently suffered from hearing loss and even tinnitus. My buddy Jeffrey, with whom I'd shared the formula, was so dumbfounded by his hearing improvements that he decided to get confirmation by consulting an audiologist. The results were ecstatic, of thousands of people just like you and me all trying it for themselves and experience unbelievable, unheard of life-changing results. I am absolutely convinced that what I'm about to share with you will relieve your tinnitus and restore the tranquility that was robbed from you by that piercing noise in your ear. But the most mind-blowing thing is this: it will diminish every toxin, free radical, and heavy metal in your body to facilitate neurotransmission that will ensure sound signals are properly interpreted by the brain. And not to mention, it will totally and permanently rejuvenate the cells in your body, reversing virtually all of your medical problems and the health conditions which might be the root cause of your tinnitus. That is exactly what happened for Crystal in Houston, Texas. After using the formula for 6 weeks, the ringing in her ears greatly diminished to the point that she was able to listen to music again. She was shocked when she discovered in a soundproof room that the ringing that had tormented her for months had disappeared. Or even Charles from Hampton, Connecticut, who fully regained his hearing at the age of 52. He had been using the program for only 12 weeks and had his results confirmed by an otolaryngologist. Or Linda from Detroit, Michigan, who used this simple method you are about to discover to rid herself of the buzzing in her ears, which had been the source of great anxiety. In so many ways, these positive testimonials from everyday people reflected my own struggles and triumphs. I was distracted all day at work, trying to concentrate, but getting thrown off by the constant nagging in my eardrums. My boss finally told me to take a leave of absence because I couldn't hear over the swooshing sounds in my head, making me a danger to myself on the construction site. That's when I made up my mind. I was either going to figure out how to fight this horrific condition or jump off a cliff. And that's not a joke. It truly was that serious. Not only was I anxiety-ridden and felt trapped inside my prison-like mind, but I was getting majorly depressed too, which meant that no matter how I did it, I needed to escape the constant screeching that sounded like nails being dragged on a chalkboard. And from that moment on, every single minute was spent researching medical publications, studies, scientific journals, and numerous alternative methods of treating tinnitus. There weren't any cures out there, but there were a lot of conflicting reports on what could possibly help tinnitus. On one hand, there were doctors prescribing steroids like prednisone all day long, along with a wide variety of antibiotics to kill any bacteria that might be causing tinnitus. Well, those meds don't really work because tinnitus is not a disease. It's neither a bacterial infection nor a virus. It is a part of the brain that starts going haywire. Not to mention, those antibiotics and steroids are harmful to your body, causing all sorts of additional ailments you don't want to deal with, like weight gain and fatigue. And on the other hand, you have a lot of medical experts saying tinnitus is impossible to treat because there isn't one root cause for it. They suspect loud noises or injuries to the ears could lead to tinnitus. Yet some people suffer from it without ever being exposed to damaging noises. Which makes sense because even though my doctor told me that I got it after years of exposure to bomb blasts and machine gun fire, I still knew a lot of people who suffered from tinnitus their whole lives without exposure to harmful loud noises. But even though they may not know exactly what makes people get tinnitus, scientists do know what it does inside your head. It roots itself deep in the brain and causes a complex interplay of brain signals to go wrong, starting with damage to tiny vibrating receptors called hair cells in the inner ear. But regardless of why you get tinnitus or what it does inside your brain, people are still desperate for any possible remedy to get rid of it. But before I show you the startling formula that cured my tinnitus, it is important to tell you how this works and why it will not only remove the hissing in your ear, but also revitalize your health. Like I mentioned before, my name is Janet Stone, and yep, you guessed it. I've lived a pretty adventurous life from the trenches of Benghazi to dusty construction sites back home. And precisely because my discovery has been described as a scientific breakthrough by celebrity doctors, I've had the singular lifetime opportunity to rub shoulders with top international ear specialists such as Professor Lawrence Thon and Dr. Kevin Harrington. These two medical research heavyweights have pioneered the most authoritative work on ear health. Looking back, it almost feels surreal. And it was a humbling feeling to be associated with the top world authorities on ear health, experts who have the reputation of stunning the medical professionals by healing hear loss and completely curing people who had been pronounced clinically deaf. But I'm really no different from you. It was just pure luck and a little tenacity that accounted for my stumbling upon this unusual formula that amazingly cured the tinnitus of Jennifer Kane, a 44-year-old single mother who had been suffering from a fractured eardrum for more than 11 years. As you can see, she is pretty darn contented, and I will tell you a secret. Not only does she look and feel physically better ever since she got her tranquility back, but she even used this exact method to save the sanity of her colleague at work. But like most of us, including myself, Jennifer was still awestruck, even though her hearing was fully restored and she'd just rediscovered the joy of a carefree 25-year-old. She wanted scientific proof from clinical analysis. So she went as far as getting a full physical examination done at the Pedco Medical Clinic, including genetic scans and detailed lab analysis. The doctors all concluded that even though she was in her 40s, her body, from a biological standpoint, had the anatomical makeup of a 26-year-old. That's a pretty remarkable thing to be told by the very conservative doctors at Pedco Clinic. But it's even more substantial when you consider that just years ago, Jennifer Kane was a diabetic single mother who suffered from depression caused by the unbearable hissing in her ear. Feeling tired and sluggish all the time, even the MRI scans were so dreadful, the doctor told her it wasn't safe for her to drive home. And even though Jennifer was desperate to get her tranquility back, she felt too discouraged after visiting scores of experts over the years. But she really had no magical way of knowing that the cure would come from such an unusual source. The remedy completely took her by storm and propelled her into a whole new reality. I still remember my heart dropping to the floor when Jennifer told me the horrifying incident that almost took her life a few years back. She was training for her first 4K marathon, jogging with her daughter at the park, but soon she noticed her training was getting harder rather than easier. As she struggled, she told herself she just wasn't working hard enough and she just pushed herself harder and harder. 2 miles into a long run, she felt a burning sensation on the right side of her stomach and throbbing chest pains which made her drop to her hands and knees, breathing harshly as if she was having a severe asthma attack. And instead of stopping and patting herself on the back for running 2 miles, which she hadn't done in years, she got up, still feeling stomach and chest pains, pushed herself to run an additional mile. And this is where all hell broke loose. Jennifer, who was only 41 at the time, didn't realize that those were the warning signs. Her anxiety was impacting the vital organs of her body, and the source of her anxiety was the hissing in her ear. 4 days later, around midnight on a Saturday night, she had a painful feeling in her chest, so painful it was hard for her to breathe. She'd had spicy Chinese food for dinner and figured it was just heartburn. She took some antacids and sat up for a while, hoping the pain would go away. But the one thing we fear most was about to happen to Jenny. When the hissing in her ear became torturous, she took a pain reliever. Hours later, as the irritation became even more disturbing, she began searching for answers online. Many sites suggested heartburn, but one described her symptoms as like those of having a massive heart attack. As if on cue, she immediately broke out into a cold sweat. By then, it was 9 p.m., and she knew she needed to rush to the emergency room. With phenomenal tenacity, she drove herself to the clinic. Little did she know that her visit to the doctor would drastically change her life. The doctor found neither symptoms of a heart attack nor heartburn. Jenny was shattered. She was frustrated because no one could diagnose the cause of her ailment. 1,000 things ran through her mind at the moment her doctor gave her those devastating words. A cascade of dreadful possibilities ran through her mind. Shoulders slumped under the weight of the news, she dragged herself out of the clinic. She didn't get a wink of sleep that night. She must have walked into her daughter's room 1,000 times that night, wondering if she'd be lucky enough to see her princess grow up. But then her frustrations caused her anxiety to increase. She kept wondering, will I get to see my daughter grow up? Will I be able to accomplish the things I'm trying to accomplish, like finishing my degree and getting my business off the ground? As she watched her daughter get on the bus the following morning with a smile and wave goodbye, she froze in the doorway, almost in tears, wondering, how many mornings do I have to enjoy this sight? Frankly, it was one hell of a wake-up call for Jennifer, especially because prior to the incident, she had made up her mind long ago to live with her tinnitus condition. Little did she know that a single dysfunctional organ in the body could so seriously impact her general health. Sure, she knew tinnitus made her antsy and occasionally depressed. But surely anxiety couldn't eventually lead to heart problems, so she thought. And at bedtime, she kept reminiscing of how joyous and outgoing her youth had been. But like most people, she kept pretending to herself that she was a fairly healthy person. It still never occurred to her, after years of Prozac medication, that no amount of pills has ever solved anxiety or depression. The only solution to anxiety consists of diagnosing and treating its root cause. In the case of Jennifer, the perturbation of her tranquility by tinnitus was the root cause of her anxiety. Of course, she never figured out the causal connection between her tinnitus and her anxiety. Neither did the general practitioner she consulted over the years. As a result, she spent her time trying one popular antidepressant drug after another. She really thought she was doing the right thing, but sadly, she was always disappointed in the end. She would always complain of insomnia at night, and what she soon discovered was that her work performance was negatively impacted. Her body was in complete survival mode. The hissing in her ear kept wreaking havoc in her life. At one point, she even tried a Siemens sound cancellation device to mask the sounds inside her head, which are expensive and annoying to wear. The use of antidepressant medication and sleep drugs to calm the panic attacks and anxiety kicked up by tinnitus did not help much either, both of which do not get to the root of the problem, but just zone you out. Herbal remedies, acupuncture, meditation have also proven inadequate. Fine for overall calming effect, but they cost a lot of money and don't promise anything near a cure. And then there's surgery, which I personally knew not to work, let alone the physical and financial pain. As you can tell, the research was unnerving, and I can't tell you how many times I nearly gave up. Well, there must be a higher power out there, because barely a week later, I finally found the one thing that would change everything, and end up giving me, Jennifer, and over 43,000 other people their peace of mind back. I searched the internet, read piles of books at the medical library, and made a ton of inquiries with doctors and specialists. Then one day, I came across two obscure studies that had me doing mental backflips. Both of them came from an accredited site that published medical journals for sound therapists and research scientists. Also, the site required paid membership, very restrictive and very expensive. But the price meant nothing if I could find the vital information I was after. The first study came from the Walton School of Medicine in St. Louis and demonstrated incredible improvements for patients who participated in tinnitus-based therapy. Specifically, the study groups listened to a series of sound recordings focused on improving the processing of sound, speech, and memory. The results sounded too good to be true, and it really got my attention. Could tinnitus really be cured by doing the one thing that you never normally do? Listen! And the second study came from San Francisco, where scientists had attempted to use sound therapy to fix tinnitus. Basically, the scientists were using a customized acoustic stimulus delivery system called a neuromonics device, and it was introduced as a means of promoting neural flexibility within the hearing system in hopes of abolishing tinnitus-related ailments. In plain English, this means that the researchers were playing a pattern of audio stimuli, sounds scientifically designed to retrain your brain to get it to work properly. And the research subjects reported that their tinnitus disappeared completely. Well, after reading about those successes with sound therapy techniques, I was intrigued by the phenomenal possibilities. I mean, this could for once pave the path to a practical cure. Perhaps I could also restore the proper brain functions in the process. I began making calls to the smartest sound technologists in the industry. With the help of social media, people around the country were suddenly connecting with each other. The snowball effect had rolled into a cascade of euphoria. I was swamped. My inbox was flooded by grateful people pouring their hearts out. They had already used the same sound technology to restore their ear health. It is amazing how the hearing function dramatically impacts all other aspects of your health. People were reporting optimal lab results for their vitals. And as I received emotional call after emotional call and thousands of Facebook messages from both people I knew well and complete strangers thanking me for reaching out to them, it became clear that I had a new calling in life to get this newfound ear health breakthrough in the hands of just the right people. Even at the risk of top otolaryngologists and the medical industry coming after me to bust my balls. Because really, I shouldn't even have been alive. I still remember that night in Benghazi, seeing bullets fly over my head, and so many of my good Army buddies who were injured and a few even sadly lost their lives. I believe this was a sign from the heavens above, and I would have to be a pretty selfish jerk if I didn't pay it forward and share this plan with others to beat the odds and cure their tinnitus. They can even go further and fully recover from hearing loss. So for the next few weeks, I approached Ear Health magazine, Dr. McLaurin, Oxford Medical Watch, and was even lucky enough to get a response from the Dean of Harvard University's Otolaryngology Department after sending 1,326 emails. They all repeatedly slammed the door in my face, stifling my efforts to get this method out quickly. Maybe because I was a small fish in a big pond. Who knows? Anyways, I reluctantly concluded that the only viable solution was to take this directly to the public myself, so I put the gloves on and I got busy. Maybe someone else knew about this too. Well, not long after I left messages for every single composer, sound tech, music executive, and every single sound producer I knew, my breakthrough finally came. One of the major symphony composers of all time, Mike Sutherland, returned my call. Mike told me he had suffered from hearing loss and tinnitus for years, but he'd overcome all of it by simply listening to a certain mix of altered music and audio tones. Mike said he knew all about neuromonics, which required a special listening device and cost $5,000 for treatment. But it was unnecessary, because with the state-of-the-art equipment at his studio, he created the same sounds at a fraction of the cost. Mike was an all-time great. He had suffered from a case of tinnitus almost as bad as mine before curing himself with his own version of neuromonics. And it made sense because top composers like him are doctors of sound. They're mathematic geniuses and brilliant at configuring sound frequencies to produce very precise effects inside the human brain. So I was definitely sold, and even better, Mike was willing to reproduce copies of his recordings for me. For the first time, a practical cure was within grasp, and it could help so many other people, especially those suffering from severe tinnitus and hearing loss. I have never been more eager in my whole life to get something working. This was the remedy everybody had been searching for. So when huge boxes of hard drives arrived filled with high-quality sound therapy recordings, I stayed up all night sorting through them. In the end, I combined the two most effective ways to make your brain cut off tinnitus and retrain itself naturally. The first version of neuromonics that used musical soundtracks which had been adjusted to scientific algorithms was indeed in my hands. In addition, I used sound therapy recordings based on cognitive behavioral instructions. In other words, these are brief listening exercises focused on auditory speed, sound, and memory designed to improve brain functioning. Once I had the two-step sound therapy sorted out, I grabbed my headphones to be certain that all the recordings played back perfectly. If this cured tinnitus, it would be a miracle, especially because it was so simple. Something so effortless it requires only 30 minutes of listening per day. Something anyone could do, regardless of the severity of the hissing. And something that wouldn't require any costly doctor appointments or dangerous prescriptions. I put the final touches on the sound techniques and dedicated the next 30 days to testing the whole program out. First, my doctor friend was helpful enough to provide me with the contact information of 49 people who were willing to test the holistic system. All of them had been tortured by severe tinnitus for years. They were thus willing to try anything that promised even a modicum of success. Especially because we'd recorded the techniques in such a way that no one needed to leave their house or even buy special headphones to listen. They even received a weekly report form to follow their progress and record listening times. I prepared to wait weeks for the initial reports to come back, but what happened next surpassed my most optimistic expectations. The participants started calling me at the end of the first week, claiming their tinnitus was way less intense. They were busting with so much delight they could barely mask their disbelief. And so I encouraged them to stick with the listening sessions and continue charting their progress. Since I was one of the people who suffered the worst from tinnitus, I had doubled up on my listening to heighten the experiment, which was still only about 45 minutes of sound therapy per day. So I was less shocked at how quickly my ears started clearing up. By the third week, the horrible ringing was almost unnoticeable, and my mood had become as bright as the sun. My sleep apnea went away, and I was sleeping through the night without any problems. By the fourth and fifth week, all of my tinnitus symptoms had disappeared, but it wasn't just me. When I went to collect the reports from the other test participants in my initial study, the results I saw were just as astounding. Not a single person reported getting the high-pitched or low-pitched ringing in their ears anymore. And they reported a huge reduction in hearing loss, which was subsequently confirmed by audiological tests. Judging by my own miraculous results, I anticipated these successes, but the testimonies at the end of each report really finalized it for me. Here are just some of them.
You know, I can't even tell you how this made me feel. Frankly, I can barely remember when the ringing in my ear let up for even a few minutes, let alone disappeared entirely. My head is quieter than it's ever been, and it's been such a long time since I was able to just relax and focus on the moment. This might sound like a cliche, but my healing was truly miraculous, and it was so easy, but the ease of use was not the most significant thing. The significant thing is that I finally recovered.
I was actually stuck with hearing aids to stifle the sounds that had been making it impossible to go through life each day. I even tried acupuncture for a few months. Of course, it didn't work. The neuromonic sound therapy system is what really changed my life. My wife can't believe that I can understand her once again. I can even answer questions from another room. Absolutely amazing. You must share this with others.
Wow, that's all I can say. The most incredible part of it all is that even though I could only listen for a few minutes per day because of my schedule, the phantom noise in my ear kept diminishing. I had a ringing in my left ear and a pulsing sensation in my right ear all the time before I started this sound therapy. But now, it's all gone. I can't thank you enough for including me in this study.
I spent the next few weeks receiving similar optimistic testimonials in the dozens. Not only did the proprietary sound frequencies prove exceedingly effective at curing tinnitus, but they also helped reverse hearing loss by stimulating the regeneration of damaged tissue in the tympanic membrane. This was the best news ever. I couldn't help but relish in my ear surgeon's surprised reaction when I requested another follow-up appointment and got the chance to show him how badly he had misevaluated my healing prospects. He re-examined my ears, head, and neck to test my central nervous system, including a hearing exam and reflex testing, clenching jaw, moving eyes, necks, arms, legs. It's the oddest thing, he said. Nothing has really changed in the physiological health of your organs. Just like before you got healed, your tests showed no symptoms at all, and your hearing levels have returned to normal. Your results are simply phenomenal. I couldn't help smiling in satisfaction. It is not quite often that you get to discover you were right and your doctor was wrong. I mean, after a painful surgery and all those medications trying to fix my problem, I'd use the brilliant work of one of the world's most respected composers to find a real solution. All without spending a fortune. Not long after that visit, I returned to work with more mental clarity and focus than ever. It was so liberating. Work was fun, conversations were easy again, and each minute of each day was completely free of previous irritations. When I called Mike Sutherland back to give him the final verdict on his listening therapy, he told me that word about his holistic tinnitus therapy was starting to spread. People keep asking me about the secret soundtrack I'd supposedly made, he laughed. After a while, I gave up trying to explain to people that there was nothing secretive or mysterious about the neuromonic sound frequencies. People always end up believing whatever they want to believe. I take it the study went well, Mike inquired. It got rid of tinnitus in every last one of the study participants, I told him. It is rather rare in medical science to get 100% positive feedback. This was truly extraordinary. We went on to talk about all of the people we knew who struggled with tinnitus, and all the secondary problems they suffered from as a result, like irritating and annoying sounds whooshing through the ears at all times, hearing loss, stress, and anxiety. Not just people with ear damage due to loud noise, but all the other people whose tinnitus had no known cause, people like me. We then agreed we needed to share this with as many people as possible and pay it forward so that they could use it to experience the benefits we'd seen for ourselves. We discussed the recordings that he had created, and we strategized on the best way to share this cure with other tinnitus sufferers. The first idea we came up with consisted of seeking the assistance of record label executives. Even though a few of these record label executives had personally obtained remarkable results from the sound frequency protocol, they were only interested in releasing commercial records, since there simply wasn't enough money to be made from Mike's productions. It was during those deliberations that the proverbial light bulb went off, and it became crystal clear to us that none were more suitable to distribute this tinnitus remedy than we were. At that point, the Holistic Tinnitus Treatment was born. Holistic Tinnitus Treatment is a complete, easy-to-follow program that resolves your tinnitus in less than 12 weeks. Inside, you'll receive our state-of-the-art audio recording, engineered to unplug your brain from its internal loudspeaker just by listening. The key is that inside each audio track is a unique set of sound frequencies, which mimics the natural frequency of the natural neural connections in your brain. They then trick your brain into reprogramming itself, thus eliminating the ringing. Permanently getting rid of your tinnitus is really this simple. Just ask the more than 43,000 people across the world who've already used it to rightfully reclaim their hearing.
I've recommended this to every single person that I've come across who needs help with tinnitus. I've been in the freight business for 15 years, and I thought I'd totally damaged my ears from continuous exposure to loud locomotives. My ears pounded all day long, but all my problems have been cleared up. I don't even get headaches anymore, and that is really easy. All I had to do was pop my earphones on and push play. I didn't even start working at the computer. You guys are brilliant.
Would it be cheesy for me to say, I can't believe my ears? I can't. This is a terrific product that has cured the roaring in my ears after nothing else worked. And I mean nothing. I've tried it all, even surgery. This is a great product that does what it says in record time. I can't thank you enough.
I'm not the one to ever write to a company and tell them how much I like their product, but you know what? This time I just couldn't help myself. Now, the hissing in my left ear used to produce, dizziness and disorientation while I was on the track, and to be honest, it was miserable, and it happened frequently, just completely drove me nuts. But now, it's like I never had it at all. The holistic tinnitus treatment is revolutionary lifesaver. Highly recommend for anyone that was going through that situation similar to me.
At this point, it should be obvious why the holistic tinnitus treatment program excels over all other unproven alternatives. To put it bluntly, there are no alternatives. You could go to a doctor who would give you antibiotics or steroids, or maybe he'll prescribe an expensive hearing aid, depression meds, or sleeping pills. These solutions deal with the symptoms rather than the root cause, and that explains why they are so ineffective. Alternatives such as meditation and acupuncture only serve to relieve the stress caused by tinnitus. These options probably won't hurt you, but they won't cure your tinnitus either. There is the highly expensive option of intrusive surgery on your inner ears, but permanent results from these procedures are rare. On the other hand, permanent ear damage is quite common. And then there's the risk-free holistic tinnitus treatment. This program uses sound therapy to retrain your brain, thus stimulating the reconnection of damaged ligaments. It cuts out tinnitus without the drawbacks of drugs and intrusive surgery. You'll get to stimulate the parts of your brain responsible for properly receiving sound and even cure your tinnitus within 12 weeks. Simply follow the instructions inside the program showing you how to use the recordings to cut out the internal invasion of sound, quiet your mind, and renew your outlook on life. Given the proven success track record of over 43,000 people who have been saved from the torments of tinnitus, you can probably understand why the health experts we conferred with gave their firm opinion that $197 is the absolute minimum we should charge for the holistic tinnitus treatment system. Once you go through the program, you'll rebalance your brain to handle sounds correctly and shut down the ringing, roaring, and quite robbing hisses inside your head. So yes, I really do believe that $197 is fair for the holistic tinnitus treatment. Except for me, this really isn't about the money. I want people to experience the same relief I did. And I want to get this program out to as many people as possible in order to accomplish just that. This groundbreaking discovery totally changed my life and restored the kind of tranquility I used to have in my teens. Frankly, I could care less about making a buck off people who are suffering. So there is no way I'm charging $197 for the holistic tinnitus treatment. Nowhere near it. In fact, you are not even looking at $97, which is far less than the cost of tubes in your ears and lower than the never-ending cycles of doctor visits and drug prescriptions. When you get holistic tinnitus treatment today, your money will go to cover administrative fees and the cost of hosting this site online. At the super low price of just $39. That's an absolute giveaway, So simply click Add to Cart below and instantly start your healing process. But you really do have to act now, because as much as I'd like to keep this offer online forever, I can't. Because the sound therapy tracks were created in a professional recording studio, the greedy corporate moguls insisted on owning at least 51% of these audio tracks. And as the majority owner, they will have irrevocable veto power to raise the price to $197. That's the actual price of the neuromonics treatment which I told you about earlier. Mike and I are determined to prevent such price gouging tactics. But if the studio takes us to court as they have been threatening to, then we're going to have to take the site down while we fight our legal battle, which could take us years to resolve. But if you're seeing this video online right now, then you still have the opportunity to benefit from this limited time offer. The moment you click that Add to Cart button, you'll be taken to a secure checkout, then take a few seconds to enter your order information. And the Holistic Tinnitus Treatment Program is yours. Access the program right from your computer, notebook, or mobile phone. You can print, download, and listen to everything you want, whenever you want. And if you're still contemplating, let me offer a deal you can't refuse. Cure your tinnitus in the next 12 weeks, or get your money back. No hassles, no questions asked. Act now by clicking the checkout button below, after which you will be taken to a secure checkout page that uses the extremely safe socket layer encryption based on Oracle authorization certificates. Once you have entered your information, you will gain instant access to the entire neuromonics audio files. You will be able to listen to all the instructional audio to effortless tinnitus recovery. You'll get a comprehensive guide of the little-known herbs and minerals, the easy-to-follow delicious nutrition plan, the veggies and fruits you should avoid if you have a thyroid condition, the ear membrane section to reset your metabolism in the next 72 hours, plus a list of sweet desserts and tasty snacks you can add back into your diet. You'll also get access to the super nutrient that will boost your neural transmission and hearing acuity as if you were in your adolescence starting tonight, right from your computer, tablet, or smartphone without waiting weeks for packages to arrive in the mail. You can download all the material or even print out as many copies as you would like and begin the program right away. Why hesitate to turbocharge the restoration of your tranquility and ear health? The process of total elimination of the phantom noise in your ear is just 20 seconds away, and all it takes is the click of a button. Order now and get relief. Click the button below. Fear not, for you are not about to spend money. Instead, you will save thousands of dollars. You will save money that you could have spent on future medical bills from the accumulated side effects of dysfunctional hearing. Smart people think in terms of saving money by investing in their health. Your small investment today is covered by a 100% 60-day money-back guarantee. The guarantee is totally free, with no hidden costs involved. Most people underestimate the role played by their diet on ear health. The scientific community is 100% unanimous on the conclusion that good nutrition and ear health go hand in hand. Sounds pretty damn crazy, and even though I have thousands of testimonials from people who struggled with blood circulation and neural transmission of sound signals to the brain, I still have to persuade people that changing their nutrition will invariably improve their ear health. I know that this investment could be the single most important decision you ever make in your life, and I could never live with myself if I didn't do everything within my power to get this into your hands today, which explains why we have spared no effort in streamlining the process. Just push the Add to Cart button you see below this video. Then get your instant access that will guide you through the blueprint of eliminating the hissing noise in your ear and rejuvenating your ear health. In the guide, you'll discover ancient Buddhist secrets to instantly reverse the acidification earwax secreting cells, and tips on how some monks succeed in detecting subsonic sound frequencies, which was previously thought to be only detectable by dolphins. Plus, the New York Times best-selling special bonus of The Secrets to Sleeping Soundly. In addition, you'll get the ultimate guide to relaxation. The skill to relax will greatly diminish the stress and irritation caused by tinnitus. All it takes is one listening session to see a difference, and it's on me. It has worked fantastically for me and everyone who has tried it. But the offer could get taken offline any minute, so click Add to Cart now and get started. This presentation video is about to end. You have only a few seconds left to grab your personal tinnitus relief. You have seen the futility of alternative treatment methods such as antibiotics, acupuncture, and feng shui. If any of these alternatives worked, the irritation in your ears would be history by now. As a matter of fact, you wouldn't even be here. And you know something? I don't want you here either. Who cares what I want? What matters is what you want. Do you want to say goodbye to the hissing in your ears? If yes, then click the Add to Cart button right now. Put your trust in the scientific breakthrough that has revolutionized ear health, and you will be forever grateful at the speed and efficiency with which your hearing capacity will be fully restored. You will only gain this relief if you click Add to Cart right now. Haven't you already wasted too many quality years of your life suffering through all the other treatments known to man? You already know nothing else works. So cure your tinnitus with a guaranteed remedy that has been subjected to rigorous clinical tests. This program is 100% risk-free. You have a long 60-day money-back guarantee. If you are unsatisfied for any reason, you will be fully refunded. But it gets even better. After refunding you fully, we generously allow you to keep the product. Not even Walmart is this generous. We can make such a bold offer because we are confident that no moral person will ask for a refund once he begins to notice remarkable improvements from tinnitus. Thanks for letting the Holistic Tinnitus Treatment Package restore your ear health. Thanks so much for listening. Still here? That's fine. The volume of information in this presentation might have left you with some questions. I'll take a few moments to outline the most frequently asked questions and answer them succinctly. How does holistic tinnitus treatment work? Scientists now know that the exact cause of tinnitus is an underlying health problem in the body. The underlying health problem can be located anywhere in the body, but 90% of the time, the health problem is in the ear. The inner ear contains very sensitive sound receptors known as hair cells. By introducing customized acoustic sounds, neural flexibility within the hearing system is stimulated. Basically, it's a pattern of stimuli designed to retrain your brain to get it working properly. Is this program for everyone? No, this program is not suitable for children under the age of 7. Keep it beyond the reach of any kids younger than 7. The bloodstream of children in the 1 to 7 years age bracket is already chugging with growth hormones. Holistic tinnitus treatment works by promoting the regeneration and growth of damaged ear cells. Adding the holistic tinnitus treatment to the growth hormones of young kids could stimulate the overdevelopment of the kids' ear organs. What am I getting with a holistic tinnitus treatment? You'll get the proprietary Neuromonics audio tracks in Media Player 3 compatible format. You'll get simple, easy to follow instructions. The instructions will be both in the written and audio format. You'll get a comprehensive, in-depth book on the unusual symptoms, accurate diagnosis, and cure for tinnitus that actually works. You'll get an inspirational nudge to opt into the monthly program for clinically certified tinnitus pills. Lastly, you'll get free lifetime access to our membership forum of people who have successfully cured their tinnitus. Combined together, the techniques inside this program unplug your brain from its internal loudspeakers just by following the instructions strictly. What happens when I click Add to Cart? Once you click on the little yellow button directly below, a secure checkout page will take payment information. Thereafter, you'll be granted free, unmitigated access to the Holistic Tinnitus Treatment Package. You can download, listen to, and print out anything you like, as many times as you need. Is there really a 100% money-back guarantee? Yes, there is a 60-day money-back guarantee. For any reason, within the next 60 days, you can ask for a 100% full refund. You will not be asked any questions whatsoever. Your refund will be granted without any administrative hassle whatsoever. The best part about the money-back guarantee is that you are not even compelled to return the products. There is no other money-back guarantee this insane in the whole wide world. Look, take a full 2 months to try this out for yourself, and if for any reason you are not satisfied or you do not notice a remarkable reduction of the pitch of the hissing in your ear, simply send an email to the address we gave you on the instant download page, and I will immediately refund you double the amount you invested with no questions asked. Yes, you heard me right. I said double your money back. That is the level of confidence I have in this system for you, and all I ask is you give it an honest 60-day go. We are taking all the risk here because we believe in your moral integrity. Once you start reaping the benefits, you will not want to return the program. You will cling to this program as if your life depended on it. This is about saying goodbye to the whooshing in your ear, and if on the extremely low chance you are dissatisfied with the results, I don't want a single dime from you. The choice is easy and straightforward. However, a few people hesitate because they are lifelong procrastinators. Generally, lazy people and low achievers always delay action. Low achievers are always in poor health because they hesitate, while the go-getters spring into action and grab every opportunity that comes their way. Do not be one of those low achievers. Become a go-getter. And get started now by clicking the Add to Cart button below. Every day since releasing the Holistic Tinnitus treatment publicly, I face towering pressure from everyone from Big Pharma, the supplement industry, the Food and Drug Administration, to medical institutes of otolaryngology. These groups, which are essentially commercial entities, will lose billions of dollars if Mike's secret audio formula were ever revealed to the mainstream. That is why the profiteering robber barons are using their immense lobbying power to take my site down. Profit from this unique secret packed Bible before the goons take it down. Stop wasting your life with acupuncture and hearing aids. Stop being a slave to unfulfilled desires. You must act now by clicking the Add to Cart button you see below this video screen. This presentation is about to end. You only have one opportunity to make this 100% risk-free decision. The ultimate choice is yours. Choose a life of tranquility, free from the torture of buzzing sounds violating your peace and harmony. This is your only choice. You do not have any alternative. There is no other cure, not in Western medicine and not in Chinese medicine. By not trying the Holistic Tinnitus Treatment Program for yourself, you choose to continue suffering from the roaring in your ear. How do you intend to restore your tranquility without this unique program? Are you going to try another useless prescription from an ear specialist? Are you going to keep exhausting yourself, running amok from one doctor to the next, without ever getting the results you want? Will you keep doing the same thing again and again, but somehow hoping to magically get different results? Do you know that, according to Albert Einstein, the very definition of madness is doing the same thing over and over, but expecting different results? What is your plan to eliminate the ringing in your ear that has robbed you of your quiet? How do you plan to deal with the side effects of tinnitus, such as stress and anxiety? You could decide to do nothing at all and let your health remain a ticking time bomb, something that would blow up in your face at any second, just like the close call that Schmidt experienced, almost becoming completely deaf. Inaction leads to one destination, fail house, the house of losers. No one ever won or succeeded in anything by hesitating to act. The man who acts may or may not win, but the man who hesitates always fails, which is why the difference between winning or losing really boils down to the decision to act or procrastinate. But you are not a procrastinator. You are the kind of decisive person who takes charge of his own health, which is why you need to click the Add to Cart button below and add the Holistic Tinnitus Treatment right now, 100% risk-free. Get this certified, clinically proven solution to tinnitus, and that's just the beginning. The Holistic Tinnitus Treatment is unique. There's no other program like it out there. It is not your average noise cancellation program. It is a holistic lifestyle transformation package. It is the only time-tested system proven to permanently transform your eardrum into an effective sound-transmitting organ. The choice is yours. To eliminate the noise in your ear and regain your tranquility, I am Janet Stone. Still here? That is okay. I know we have covered a lot of stuff in this presentation, and you might still have one pressing question about what you just saw. To make things easier for you, I will go ahead and take a few seconds to answer the most common question people ask me about the Holistic Tinnitus Treatment Package. When will this offer be taken offline? It is impossible to tell when this offer will be removed from the web because it does not depend on me. It depends on the class action lawsuits being filed by the greedy corporate fat cats who want to rip obscene profits from this program. Once the courts order the program to be taken offline, there is no telling how long it will take before I can get it back online. This is the pressing reason why you should take advantage and order this program right now by clicking on the Add to Cart button below.